Today in Combat Aviation and Defence, we attend an event honouring the Vietnam veterans of Illawarra in New South Wales, Australia. But first, help our channel grow by pressing the like and subscribe button. Over 60,000 Australians fought in the Vietnam War, 523 died and almost 2,400 were wounded. That chapter is one of the many where Australians answered the call and sought to defend our way of life. This event was attended by Vietnam veterans and their families, along with other veterans and community leaders. A moving tribute was paid to all with a rendition of the national anthems of Australia and the Republic of Vietnam by ladies of the Vietnamese community. They also sang a song about their journey as refugees to the tune of "We Are Australians." The event was well attended with many families present, showing a deep bond that exists between veterans and their community. A personal highlight of the day was the appearance of two flying UH-1 Hueys that played an important role in the Vietnam War. These two helicopters are maintained and flown by HARS, which keeps historical aircraft flying for future generations. A great time was had by all who attended, lest we forget.
Good morning, everyone. Please stand up for the national anthems, Australian and the Republic of Vietnam. A minute of silence. I invite everyone to observe a minute of silence to commemorate those servicemen and women who lost their life in service to their country. A minute of silence to commemorate those who gave their lives to protect freedom and democracy for Vietnam. A minute of silence to commemorate those 523 Australian soldiers who courageously gave their lives in fighting against communism. A minute of silence commence. The silent a minute finishes. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, after singing the national anthem, we now share another song, I Am, You Are, We Are Australian. It reflects the journey of Vietnamese refugees who found a new beginning here. And today, we proudly call Australia home. Please join us in singing, We Are One, We Are Australian. Coming to Australia. I came from the Vietnam through a refugee camp, floating on a leaky boat with nothing but my heart. I sailed along the Mekong River and I watched the Vietnam go. I'm Vietnamese, refugees, I am Australia. Together, we are one, but we are many, and from all the lands on earth we go, we share our dream, and sing with one voice.
My story. In Vietnam, before I was a soldier, I fought for the freedom, for the protecting our people, and then in the end, sadly, we lost the war. Then I was in the refugee camp, and from there I come to Australia. And my story is how I settled out in here. And please, just listen. I'm a farmer, I'm a banker, with the name very hard to spell. I have a slightly eyes, my hair is black, my skin yellow as the sun. I settled down in Wollongong, and I love my new homeland. I'm the Vietnamese, I'm the refugee, and now I'm proud, I am Australian.
service in Vietnam. And when I turned up for training at Fire Squadron in 1977, I flew Bravo models for about 40 flying hours, and then I went on to H models at 9 Squadron at Amberley. Some of the people I flew with was Sir Angus Houston, was a flight lieutenant. When I got to 9 Squadron, he was then Chief of the Air Staff. Also Bruce Townsend, and some of these guys had also flown in Vietnam on gunships. I had the privilege of flying a gunship, the one you'll see today, 703. I last flew in 1980 at Puckapunyal in a heavy fire team. So what we call a heavy fire team are 3 Hueys with 2 forward-firing miniguns that rated at 4,800 rounds a minute, 14 folding film high-explosive aerial rockets and twin M60s in each door to suppress the fire as you do the attack run. You roll in at about 700 metres, 2-second burst, select rockets, fire a Ripple 7, 2-second burst of minigun, and as you break off to the right, clear the left door gun to fire. So what we're simulating today, as Michael has told you, is you can imagine the gunships have been on the far side, heavy fire team, Bush Rangers 7-1, 7-2 and 7-3 is the call sign. They've suppressed the enemy. Imagine on the far side of the trees, the enemy is gone. And this is clearing the way for a tactical insertion of up to 8 to 10 Hueys with about 7 troops on board. When we landed, we used to count 10 seconds, that's all they had to get off, and then we'd start lifting, pull, pitch, and up and away you go. You can also do quick stops, but we're not simulating that today. Because of current safety rules, you won't see a quick stop, but you'll see the Hueys overfly, check the pad is clear. They'll call pops for pop the smoke, and it'll also give them a wind direction for when they're landing. You can hear them coming now. So the difference between the Hueys, Bravo is a smaller model, 8,500 pounds in weight. The H model has a slightly more powerful engine, 9,500 pounds of weight. When it's a gunship, it's up to 10,500 pounds, so they used to call it a heavy 9.5. The Huey flies about 110 knots, and we're airborne for about an hour and a half. You can put a fuel tank in to extend the range. So they're about to overfly, check the pad is clear, and then they're going to circle around and land into wind. So Ken will pop the smoke for them. So we've checked the pad is clear and they've been cleared in. We also use the Hueys for what you guys, the vets, would know as a dust-off. So if someone was wounded in the field, we would get them out of the field very quickly. The golden hour gets them to a field hospital within 1 hour to ensure that their lives were safe. Yeah. And of course, the famous Waka Waka, it's a 2-bladed rotor system. So at the tip, the rotors are doing about 78% of the speed of sound. They rotate at about 324 RPM. Okay, Ken's popped the smoke, which will also identify the pad. Normally, once the smoke was popped, as the Colonel said, we wouldn't identify the smoke, throw smoke, and the Huey pilot would say, I see orange smoke, and the guys on the ground would say, that's confirmed. The pad is clear. The helicopter has quite a steep approach angle, it's about 8 degrees. RPM, the tail rotor spins about 5 times as fast. It's actually an anti-torque device, so if we didn't have a tail rotor, the rotor would actually, if you look down from above, would spin anti-clockwise and the tail would spin clockwise. So to controllably vary the thrust on the tail rotor with pedals, like a rotor in an aeroplane. Gentlemen, that's the end of my commentary, so enjoy looking over the Hueys. It also had a rescue winch on board. That's the last bit of equipment. We can lift 2 people through 250 feet, 600 pounds. And often had in Vietnam, they used a jungle penetrator, which was a heavy weight to go down, and they guys pulled some seats out, and then we winched them up into the chopper. That was another way of getting people out of the jungle. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks very much, Dave, and thank you for your service. Folks, what we're seeing now is the turbines cooling down. When they are cooled, they will then start to apply the rotor brake. You will see the crew will get out, and one of the crew members will secure the rotor in parallel with the fuselage, and they will lock it down with a strap, which means that it can't accidentally swing or move. When all that is complete and the noise has gone down, we're going to invite all the display people if they'd like to start to come onto the ground. The cadets are going to do a marching display in the unit, and we will first bring past the Vietnam vets to go out and have a look at the Huey and have their photos taken. Please be tolerant while all that's going on, because after that finishes, the general public will be invited to come out and have a look at both of the Huey. So at the moment, we're watching the post-landing wind down on the 2 Hueys. You can hear that they've now switched off the turbine. Notice how slowly the rotors actually spin. 703, the far one, is a little further into routine than 898, which is the close one. 898 is a B model, and the Navy pilots who flew in Vietnam trained on B models. Then they went to Vietnam and flew either American or Royal Australian Air Force. So the blue and white Navy helicopter didn't actually go to Vietnam. The other one, 703, is an H model, a later production, bigger capacity, and it served with 9 Squadron and did overseas service, including Vietnam. When you have a look, you will notice that the crewman on 898 is about to secure the rotor with a strap. You notice how slowly they're moving at the moment, but they're still moving, which is why we don't want anyone yet to be on the field except professional crew. And when you notice the B model just happened to switch off a bit more quickly than the H model. Notice he's securing a strap at the end, which is deliberately designed to secure the rotor. H model is very close to the same part of the wind down routine, but not yet secured its strap. Well, you notice that there are 2 pilot and co-pilot seats in the front of the cockpit, and then there is a series of seats at the rear, and in the bigger H model it could carry up to 8 people, 2 machine guns either side if they were rigged as a gunship. Now in a minute the HARS members will go out and they will take out some small ladders, which means that if you have a look, they are essentially on skids rather than on wheels. And the purpose of the skid is you can land on rough terrain and not sink as quickly as if you had wheels. So that's why you'll notice that neither of them have wheels. They basically land on the equivalent of a sled skid. Because it's a bit of a get up for people, we'll have 2 ladders either side of each Huey. So if you'd like to get up, you can get up on a ladder and you will be assisted. Initially the HARS members will control the access, but over time the cadet units are being asked to provide staffing so they too can have a look close up at the Hueys. They are operational aircraft. Will you please follow instructions? They have to be intact and able to fly back. I've got to say it would be fairly embarrassing to ring up and say, guess what, we can't take off. So please respect the crew's instructions. If they ask you to do something, please do it. If they ask you not to do something, please don't do it. Thank you.
notice down the back there was a yellow thing sticking out, that's called the stinger. If you do a very high angle as you come